Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy.
Welcome to the Con Guy Comic-Con show, everybody. Home edition again. This week is what I'm calling a friends and family week because our guest is a friend of the show that we can't get enough of having Josh on the show. And the Con Guys, we have some Con Guys who are also celebrating special family occasions tonight. So as an introduction, although he got off to a rough start with that ill-planned, in many people's opinion, first design that was not really well received, that little blue hedgehog managed to speed run his way to the top of the heap as the Sonic the Hedgehog movie racked up huge box office numbers and the love of critics and fans worldwide. This week, the co-writer of the Sonic movie, Josh Miller, returns back to our show as one of our favorite guests ever to fill us in on some of the cool stuff that we may have missed. So who do we have in the booth tonight, Katie?
Hey everyone, it's me again, Katie, aka the con girl here. Excited. We're gonna talk some convention updates.
What's up, everybody? I'm Ben Cleaver.
Ben.
I don't know I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my camera. It's like slowing down and then catching up and stuff. But anyway, here I am. I'm here, and I love you all.
Derek.
Hey, I'm Derek Sams, a regular here. Yeah, hi.
Cheeseman?
It is quite a time.
Cheeseman.
Oh, hey there. Just playing a little Sonic the Hedgehog here, but I'm Cheeseman on the couch, Cheeseman on the chair, Cheeseman playing Sonic right now, here with conguy.com.
And of course, let's introduce Mr. Josh Miller, the co-writer of Sonic the Hedgehog. Welcome back to the show, Josh. We are so happy to have you.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Under the circumstances, pretty good, I suppose.
You keeping busy?
Yes. We got lucky, my writing partner and I, that we have things to do every day.
By the way, we will be asking you about that shortly. But first, by the way, Josh, jump in and participate in any part of the show because what you say is always interesting. So, but first,
well, you're all right.
Also,
yes?
the last time Josh was here, I declared him to be my best friend. And since I haven't gotten to do the rapid fire interview with any other guests since then, Josh, no one has unseated you in that position. So you feel free to jump in where you like.
Yes.
You can be a sidekick.
Burned it.
I loved that rapid fire interview. We got to do some more of those, Derek. That was really cool. But first up, as we begin the show tonight, we call this the Friends and Family Show. We have all of us are friends. Josh is a friend of the episode. Friend of the show. And also we have a couple.
He's my best friend.
We have a couple of con guys celebrating some very cool family moments. We're going to start with Derek. Tell us what you're celebrating, Derek.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to do those rapid fire interviews with anybody because I've missed the show the last couple weeks because on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, my wife and I were meeting our newborn foster son.
Woohoo, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was Star Wars Day and the anniversary of our first date. So
see the photo?
This photo is just a picture of his little feet because with foster care, there are a lot of regulations. We have to protect the privacy of the birth family and everything. And so I'm not going to share his name, not going to share pictures of his face, but he is a very sweet baby boy and we are thrilled. We met him on May the 4th. And then we were able to bring him home on May the 11th. He was in the NICU for a bit, nothing too serious, but stuff they were monitoring. But it was really nice. We got to go in and hold him and feed him and get used to doing that there, let him get used to us, hearing our voices with some supervision of some nurses. So it was like we got a quick crash course in taking care of a newborn before he actually came into our home. And last night was the first night that it was really difficult, where he was fussy for most of the night. So I might be a little bit out of it today.
Imagine
fussy
that.
on us.
Yeah, but it is worth every minute. I will say that. I might not feel that when I wake up in the morning and don't have coffee yet, but it is pretty great. Or when I don't wake up in the morning because I've already been awake.
All night long.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Derek. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, Cheeseman, don't you and Derek have something going on here?
Yeah, I sent him a little gift. Did a little drop off.
Oh.
Have a little unboxing, unwrapping on
You mean
something. This thing.
Yeah.
A special surprise for the little guy.
Can I open this now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Reaction video.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if you said no after we like built up to it.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, I love it.
What is it?
Oh, it's perfect.
Little onesie. I'm a little nervous about the fact that it's red. I'm supposed to be
Yeah, I was
protecting
gonna
this child.
say.
Hey, can
Yeah.
you describe? Hey,
But
Derek, for those who are
there's a
listening,
tiny little heart right here.
can you
But there's
describe
a
what it is,
reason
Derek?
it's red.
Hey, Derek, can you describe what it is for those who are listening?
Oh, yes. For if this is audio, this is a onesie made to look like a Starfleet uniform. From it looks kind of like the original series era. Oh, he can't be on camera.
Oh!
That was a
The
good
face was
block,
covered.
though.
Yeah, that
Good
was
job, Derek. You covered the
fully
face
insane.
perfectly.
still happened, but
Yeah.
Picard's
so let's see.
Picard is red and
Yes.
Q
So near-
is red.
Yes,
All right.
that's true. And we have referred to him as Q, and we've called him Baby Yoda because we got him on Star Wars Day, and he is that cute.
Baby Yoda. That's fantastic.
What do you
Congratulations.
say he's your number one?
Oh, I
There
think
you
I
go.
would probably need to say that my wife is my number one, but maybe he could be our number one.
There you go.
Oh,
There-
there
yeah.
you
There
go.
you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Derek.
Congrats.
So,
Thank
but we
you.
have somebody else also celebrating something. Ben, why don't you tell us what's going on?
I do. Well, there were two things. I talked about it. Well, on our Star Wars show, on our May the 4th show, that was actually my wedding anniversary.
Fantastic.
And then the 17th, which was yesterday, was the anniversary of when I asked my wife to be my girlfriend.
There's the photo right there.
In reverse order, obviously. Yes. So we went to the Renaissance Pleasure Fair out here in Southern California. And at the end of the day, I drunkenly asked her to be my girlfriend. And she said, "Are you going to remember this tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I'm going to remember this." So
Did you?
and then
Did you?
I did
Yeah.
indeed. Rest is history.
Well, you remember it now anyway. So that's good.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's photographic proof. We're actually very fortunate to have photographs of us on the day we met and on the day that I asked her to be my girlfriend. So, and of course,
Yeah.
the day I proposed to her, there's video and photos. Of
He
that.
got
that's good.
drunkenly engaged and drunkenly married. Just
Yes, exactly. I've just been perpetually drunk. So
As long as it sticks.
exactly.
Derek, well,
Drunkenly
congratulations,
sticks.
Ben. That is pretty fantastic.
thank you very much.
Well, since let's go ahead and stick with Ben. Oh, Ben. So Ben has prepared the geekiest 3 minutes of news of the week, or the headlines, or whatever Ben has for us. It's actually a surprise. None of us know what he's about to do. This is great.
All right, so we're cracking off a little bit of a new thing. So what we've traditionally done is the 3 geekiest minutes of news of the week, or whatever we called it. I think we called it something slightly different every time. But basically, the tradition there was that, Jim would write something up. I wouldn't look at it till we were literally broadcasting, and then I'd try to read through all of it in 3 minutes. Now, we've kind of passed the torch a little bit. He's said, "Okay, I want you to write it up." And I was like, "Cool, I'm on it. What
I'm over
websites
it.
do you use? Where do you do?" So I found the 3 geekiest minutes, and I'm changing it up a little bit. So the plan is I'm going to give you the 3 geekiest minutes of headlines, and then I'll do a breakdown later this week on theconguy.com and expand on those headlines a little bit.
Ooh.
Although I do give you some information in here. Now the challenge becomes not to read something somebody else wrote for me and get it in 3 minutes, but take what I know I can read in 3 minutes, but a real tight 3 minutes, and make it comprehensible and funny. And I also have one other story I'd like to do outside of the 3 minutes that's very important, and we need to do an announcement on it. And that's the Taika Waititi, James the Giant Peach read through, but I'll talk about that after the 3 minutes of news.
All right.
All right, are we ready?
So I've got the clock. I will hold it up for everybody to see.
Wait, hold on. I'll give you a countdown. I'm going to announce the 3 minutes of geek
you
headlines brought to you by Spam. Count me off, Jim.
All right, I shall. Wait, are you counting down, or am I?
No,
counting down?
you count me down, please.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
21 years ago tonight, fans lined up for the midnight premiere of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Little did we know, the Menace would be the prequels themselves. Legendary VFX artist Tippett returns to the Star Wars franchise in The Mandalorian Season 2 and could not sound more bored about it. Said Tippett, "It's fine, I've been there, done that." Star of every Nerd Boys fantasy, Katie Sackhoff, is reportedly reprising her Star Wars The Clone Wars and Rebels role Bo-Katan in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Sackhoff joins a growing list of actors allegedly appearing, including Rosario Dawson, Tamira Morrison, Michael Bain, and Timothy Oliphant for some
30
reason.
minutes. Seconds.
CBS has plenty of plans to continue boldly going back to the well with Star Trek, with Discovery Season 3, Discovery spin-off, Star Trek Section 31, Picard Season 2, Lower Decks, a post-Star Trek Nemesis animated comedy following the support crew of Starfleet's least important ship, the USS Cerritos. This is a real thing set to debut on CBS All Access this year.
Wow.
Also in development, an animated Trek series for Nickelodeon. And finally, the hotly anticipated Star Trek Strange New Worlds, another Discovery spinoff that people actually asked for. The Tarantino and Noah Hawley movies still percolate in limbo, and CBS has one more unannounced Trek television series in the works. CBS, proving the old adage, why buy the cow when you can just milk the fucking shit out of it? DC's Stargirl, not to be confused with Disney Plus film of the same name, premiered last week on DC Universe and is the newest addition to the Arrowverse. Season 2 of Doom Patrol will hit HBO Max and DC Universe this summer, and the CW has acquired the rights to Swamp Thing, prompting fans of the gooey series to hope for a Season 2.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Is excited about playing the Penguin in the upcoming The Batman, calling his scenes tasty. Do with that what you will. Patton Oswalt is returning for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, and it gives me life. Schrodinger's film, The New Mutants, is supposedly being released in theaters on August 28th, 2020, according to Disney and 20th Century Studios. Stay tuned to theconguy.com for its cancellation. Spyglass Media Group, the company relaunching the Scream franchise, has announced that David Arquette will reprise his role as Dewey Riley in the 5th installment of the franchise.
Nice.
In more We Don't Have Any New Ideas news, Bad Boys for Life directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah have announced that Beverly Hills Cop 4 is moving forward as they're going to, and this is a real quote, try to write a first draft or a first treatment, at least with the story. John Krasinski posted his final episode of Some Good News because there is, in fact, no more good news.
30 seconds left.
Joe Exotic is reportedly sending his legal team to Washington, D.C. with the intent of asking the president for a pardon. All this while actress Tara Reid is being eyed to play Carol Baskin in a film adaptation of the Netflix docuseries. The previous two sentences, believe it or not, contain no actual jokes. A video released this morning featured the cast of Netflix's hit The Umbrella Academy at home recreating their dance to Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now from Season 1, along with the announcement that Season 2 of the series will premiere on July 31st. Read up on these headlines and more on my Geek News Breakdown this week on theconguy.com.
3 minutes.
Right on the dot.
That was amazing,
That's
Ben.
impressive.
Great.
That was
Impressive.
stinking amazing. So they're really going to Washington to ask for a pardon?
Apparently, Joe Exotic's legal team is going to DC to ask the president for a pardon. So that's a thing. The other thing I wanted to break down here, and I had typed this out, is it was what was going to be my top story, but it ended up being too much information. Taika Waititi, Earth's charming boyfriend we met during a semester abroad, is hosting a star-studded read-along of the Roald Dahl classic James and the Giant Peach, teaming up with the likes of Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett, Mindy Kaling, Lupita Nyong'o, Chris and Liam Hemsworth, Benedict Cumberbatch, Ryan Reynolds, and some other actors not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The 10-episode performances, 4 10-episode performances called James and the Giant Peach with Taika and Friends. It started this morning and will continue to be posted Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to the Roald Dahl YouTube channel. Working with the Roald Dahl Story Company, the project is raising money for medical and social organization Partners in Health, of which Dahl's daughter, Ophelia, is a founder. The organization is fighting COVID-19 and supporting public health systems in vulnerable communities around the globe. The Roald Dahl Story Company is fixing to match up to $1 million in donations, and beyond $1 million, there are other partners waiting in the wings. You can donate to at the Partners in Health website, pih.org. So that was the other story I wanted to get covered today.
That's a very cool story. I'm glad that you took some extra time to do that one. That's very cool.
Also, this is just a somewhat newsy thing. It happened a couple weeks ago, I think, for the first time, but they're doing a Harry Potter at home thing on Spotify where they are reading one chapter at a time by different celebrities involved in the franchise, reading one chapter at a time. They're releasing them on Spotify. Daniel Radcliffe read the first chapter. Eddie Redmayne read the third chapter. I don't remember who was doing the second and fourth chapter, but they're releasing them at a time and adding different voices to it. So if you've never read Harry Potter and you want to listen to it, might be kind of a fun way to listen to it. So
Luke, sounds like it's right up your alley.
yeah, each one's about 20 minutes, I want to say, each of them. So yeah.
You can listen. It's a listening thing. All right. We have one more thing before we jump into our Sonic the Hedgehog discussion with Josh, and that is Katie's convention updates. Katie, if you can go ahead and bring us up to date.
All right. So as you know, we have a lot of cancellations going on right now with what's going on with the state of things. But we do have some that have not been canceled. So I wanted to give you folks the latest update. Now, granted, this is the most recent update. Things could change tomorrow, as has happened twice, I think, since I made these updates. But the first one is one of the conventions we don't talk a lot about because a lot of us have not been. I don't think any of us have been to it unless Ben has, is DragonCon. That's still scheduled as planned for September 3rd through 7th. And this is the huge convention that happens in Georgia. It's also a party convention. There's lots of after parties. It's a very big convention that I do want to make it to at one point, but they did tweet out on April 22nd. So it's about a month ago now, but I don't actually think we've covered it yet, was that they released a thread and it started with many things in the world are uncertain right now. One thing isn't. We are planning to throw one sorely needed amazing celebration come Labor Day. We're moving forward to keep DragonCon 2020 on schedule. Currently, there are no plans to reschedule or cancel the event. And then they talked about, of course, they're still monitoring the situation. They'll update it, and if anything is unsafe, they'll revisit it. And they will be posting their normal updates that would fall in time, like any deadlines, things like that.
I think, Katie, on our next show, you might have an update to that particular announcement.
Gotcha. Well,
I mean, I give them props, but even if they do hold the event, it's going to be considerably different than what people have experienced in years past.
Yeah.
Now they're refusing to cancel their everybody rubs each other's faces party they have every year.
And they did say
that's my favorite party.
They did say that we hope these announcements can bring hope and excitement to you all during this time and allow us to continue with planning an amazing con. I thought that the way that they worded it was very refreshing, because a lot of people are like, oh, you should just automatically cancel, it's unsafe. But I do like that they're saying we're trying to spread hope, because I feel like right now a lot of people feel hopeless, and that's what we need. We need that hope that we can look forward to doing something. And I like they said sorely needed celebration, because we are going to need something to pick us back up after this time. So as for other conventions, LA Comic-Con, as far as I know, is still scheduled to happen, right? It hasn't been canceled on the
as of yet, but California is a different situation than Georgia right now. So I even though it's in October, I still think if they have it, it'll be a very different convention if it does go on.
And if I may, real quick, with a lot of these conventions and other major events, they really can't afford to announce a cancellation too far in advance, because it has to do with whether they get to a point where the city says, no, you cannot have this event, and a city's not going to do that months in advance, because it's a fluctuating situation. And that has to do with if they have to cancel their event because the city, county, or the municipality canceled it, then they can get insurance back on it, and then they can afford to refund everybody their money instead of just canceling the event and then nobody gets their money back, because otherwise we'd go bankrupt, that sort of thing. And that would piss off a lot of people. But I also commend DragonCon for that.
Yeah, and they are all taking a big financial hit with all these cancellations already.
Correct.
So we can be patient. Yeah.
WonderCon, as you all know, was canceled, but there are still panels being put up online all the time. You can check their Twitter or their website for them, which is nice if you want to have your own convention at home, maybe get in your cosplay, or just stay in your pajamas. I mean, whichever kind of person you are, right? So that is a nice little refreshing thing that if you do want to, they've had a lot of cool content, maybe some content they can't even normally have because people are at home and able to do different things. There might even be another panel worth watching on there that had the Power Rangers, I think.
Oh, yes, the Power Rangers panel featuring theconguy.com's Ben Cleaver.
Yeah,
it was a mighty good panel.
Yeah, I never heard of that one, but there was one, something to do with how to do a full-time creative career on a part-time schedule.
Yep.
Which I think is the most interesting panel you will ever watch at any convention ever.
competing panels from the same show. That's amazing.
I know, it's great. New York Comic Con, as of now, still scheduled to happen in October 8th through 11th. If that one is not canceled, I'm sure it'll be a bigger show than normal, but this is all TBD.
Yeah.
And I don't think we actually announced it on the show, but Anime Expo was canceled as well. That is normally July 4th weekend. They did put that you can receive a full refund or roll over your badge till 2021 if you did already purchase it, which is, of course, Anime Expo is the biggest anime convention. I believe in the US. I could be wrong, but I believe it's at least in the US, the biggest anime convention. So, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully, but, we'll keep you up posted. And as soon as they send those tweets out, I've been trying to retweet those so that you all can have as much information as you need.
That's awesome. Hey, Katie, wait, there's one more cool piece of information about...
Yes.
Yes.
The LA Comic-Con.
No.
Is that the one you sent me?
San Diego.
But there's also LA Comic-Con.
Well,
we're streaming some.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, LA Comic-Con. I apologize.
LA Comic-Con did tonight, which it already happened, but I'm sure there'll be other ones, is they're doing live streaming events that are viewing parties. So if you tune into their website, I believe, and their social media, they're posting about it. So tonight they had like The Office, Jimmy Neutron, and there was a couple more.
Yeah.
And those were main stage panels that they had on the expo floor, right?
Yes, correct. And they're streaming those online.
Yeah, I think that they're probably going to try to stream some others as well.
Yeah.
Josh, that's the first time I ever met you was at LA Comic-Con. Do you know if your panel was recorded?
I don't think it was, but I didn't arrange it, so I guess I'm not positive.
It was a great panel. The history of horror. I mean, the future of horror, I think, was what that panel was.
Josh is going to do the whole panel for us in 3 minutes, starting now.
Go. Woo, get ready. All right. Also, what I was trying to say was, I saw at the San Diego Comic-Con, they released a short 17-second video that announced no lines, no waiting. You can bring your dogs, bring the food, because we are having San Diego Comic-Con online. It's coming up sometime this summer. You can probably expect that sometime around mid-July is what I would expect. So they're going to try to collect a bunch of panels, get all the vendors together, and have some kind of facsimile of a convention online, which is kind of cool. I'm glad they're going to be doing that.
Yeah, and then just one other thing I was going to say is the biggest thing to think of if you are a convention goer, and I know we are a little sad about it, but the people that are really hurting are, and I know we've mentioned it before, are all the small businesses and vendors who do go to these conventions. And they are basically losing their livelihood right now. So, and we know times are hard and it's hard even for us to spend that money, but if you're able to go support your small businesses or local businesses that are affected by those conventions, definitely try to help them out in any way you can. There's been a lot of even businesses doing fundraisers where they're not even taking the money and they're donating it to charity. So even those ones, there's things out there to do and still get that con experience without leaving your home.
And Jim's wearing one of those vendor shirts right now.
Oh, yeah. Tony was, this is Tony Kim, his company. Oh, and so Derek, is that?
Oh, you got one too. Yeah.
He's got
special edition stand together for the.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, he just recently did that one, right?
Yeah. For the shutdown, during the shutdown, he was selling those as a special fundraiser for, I think for frontline staff in hospitals, I think is what the money went to. So that's really cool that you got one of those. But that's Tony Kim with Hero Within. He's a friend of the show. Monster Tees is also a friend of the show. If you guys get a chance to check them out, and there's too many to list right now, but in the months ahead, we'd like to spotlight a lot of those independent vendors who would have been at the conventions, the artists, the independent artists who so many people are taking such a hit right now. So we are really trying to do the best we can to support them. I mean, I know that Tony with Hero Within, they made an announcement earlier this year that this may have broken them. And we just hope and pray that that is not the truth, because Tony's one of the, not only is Hero Within some of the best clothes, best cool geeky clothes you can get, Tony Kim's one of the best guys out there that you can meet and just be friends with at these conventions. He's just such a helpful guy. So
yeah, and they currently have free shipping. I think with Stand Together is the code, and there's also like some jackets and things they have on sale and stuff currently. So you can get some good deals right now.
Good. We'll make sure we put that on the website. All right, we are going to jump into our Sonic the Hedgehog portion of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, since we have the co-writer here and everything, it kind of makes sense. Let me tell you a little bit about Josh before we jump in. Josh Miller is the co-writer of the global blockbuster Sonic the Hedgehog, which, as of tomorrow, well, as of May 19th, depending on when you listen to this, is available to purchase on 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray combo packs. And here's what's cool. It comes with a limited edition comic book inside it as well. Other credits of Josh include the TV series Into the Dark, 12 Deadly Days, which he executive produced, and his baby, Golan the Insatiable, which he also created. He's also it's right behind him. I saw that. That's awesome. He's also the creator and host of the screening series Friday Night Frights here in the Los Angeles area, along with the podcast Best Movies Never Made. Josh, welcome back to the show. We are so happy to have you with us.
Glad to be back.
All right.
Always fun.
All right, hosts. What everybody have you? I just want to make sure we all had a chance to watch Sonic. I just watched it this past weekend. It was the first time I've seen it. Now that it's out on,
I jumped on that and saw it very quickly when it came out. And my wife and I, we called a family that we're friends with and took their middle school age kids with us. I think they're like 13 and 11, which that made the experience that much better because these kids were so into it. They were laughing really hard at every joke. As were some of the other kids and families in the theater, which always makes it that much more fun. And which is why I miss going to the theater to see movies. But yeah, we had a great time. Like I thought, oh, it'll be, kids movie. Maybe it'll be cheesy because, as funny as Josh is, he had to bow to so many executives and copyright rules and stuff. But it was actually
your best friend made it, so you knew you'd love it.
Yeah, so I'm a little biased because my best friend wrote it. But it was really fun.
Yeah.
I love the characters. I love the performances. I love how endearing Sonic was because in the cartoon, sometimes he was pretty arrogant and he's got an attitude in the game. And here, like, there's a little bit of that, but it's more like a childish nature. And yeah, you really care about him. It was great.
I didn't know that Derek and I were the only ones who saw it in theater until today. So I did see it in theater too, as well, with my roommate. And I definitely agree with you, Derek. And it had this childish charm. Not like the movie was childish, but it just made you feel childlike. Thank you.
Yeah.
It made you feel so warm and happy inside. I mean, I believe I still cried at one point in the movie. But,
there you go.
And that's not a bad thing at all. If a movie can both touch my heartstrings because it's so beautiful, but also has something real and raw about it that makes me just feel, I love it. And I think I smiled the majority of the movie, and it had so much charm. And it was probably my favorite video game movie I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Take it, Pikachu.
Yeah.
How did you know that was my other favorite until this one came out? Right.
Josh, didn't this movie has passed up the domestic box office gross of Pikachu, correct?
Domestically, yeah, not globally. Yeah. Thanks, coronavirus.
Well, but still. Hey, Ben, what about you and Bree? Didn't you guys just see it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see it in the theater either. I don't think I've seen a movie in the theater since Star Wars.
What? 1977?
Yeah, the original
Phantom Menace.
No. I think I saw 1980.
Is that why you're still wearing Christmas colors?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not get to see as many movies in the theater as I wanted to, and then all of a sudden all this happened, and now I can't.
Yeah.
You don't know what you got until you lose it. But
it's gone.
Brian, exactly. Brian and I did we did rent it last night, and we watched it on Amazon Prime, and I fraggin' loved it. Like, I absolutely loved it. It was cute. It was fun. Ben Schwartz was awesome as the voice of Sonic.
Yeah.
I used to go see him perform live at Upright Citizens Brigade here in LA, and he was just like, I don't know who else they had in consideration for Sonic's voice, but he just seemed to be the perfect selection, the perfect choice for Sonic. And then it was like we pulled out a nice, lightly chilled bottle of vintage Jim Carrey and enjoyed that for the evening. Like, that was just a delight. And then we were both sitting there like, James Marsden doesn't get enough good work. And he was great in the movie. The whole cast was, and you know, I was like, okay, I know Josh, so I know I'm probably gonna like this. But it was just so much fun, and the jokes were funny, and it was family friendly, and it was I just had a blast watching it. An absolute blast.
Yeah, just to echo what everybody said, you know, like I thought it was a lot of fun, you know, growing up, and you know, Sonic behind me, like I was a big fan of the game. I actually didn't have Genesis personally, but I played it like at my cousin's, and then I got Game Gear, which was kind of like my first kind of thing I had. So I was like playing it on there. I did get Dreamcast, had Sonic on that, but always loved Sonic. Used to watch the cartoon and everything where he had an attitude, which I'm sure he's going to have that attitude in the second one or more. He had an attitude, but I know you guys were like, he seemed nicer than the cartoon, but I'm sure they'll bring it. He's gonna have his moment. But it was a lot of fun. I could really feel the love of filmmaking and movies. Like I could see Josh's just love of just film and cinema, and you know, all the little kind of Easter eggs we'll talk about and things like that. It just was like an all-around fun movie. Like it's something like, you know, somebody from like my generation could easily take their kids to go to, but but both could enjoy it. I think I got a little pineapple from my later.
Luke's getting choked up. He's crying.
I was saying, getting worked up.
Yeah,
Josh, you made Luke cry.
It's just so good, you know. I mean,
Well,
but yeah, I liked it a lot,
Hey,
and
Josh,
I was just like, this is good throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it. That was the first time I saw it was this past week. But and we were sitting there. I was studying the screen, trying to see the hidden things that we might not be picking up on, or things that might be running past us. Could you kind of walk us through some things that we probably missed?
I mean, there's probably things I've missed because there's the stuff we added, and then there's also so much stuff that the animators and people added too that, you know, had nothing to do with me, and I didn't notice until watching a cut of the movie, or in some cases didn't notice till I was looking at the internet. Just a lot of some of the subtle poses that, because I don't play Smash Brothers, but I saw when the internet got very excited that he does his like Smash Brothers pose. But I'm like, oh, is that what that pose was? I don't know. I haven't played Smash Brothers since before Sonic was not allowed in it. But some stuff I know a lot of people have noticed already, but I thought was really fun was there's the scene. It's like so quick, but it's like the perfect kind of, I feel like nowadays everyone expects these sort of moments to be full of Easter eggs. So you kind of just wait till you can pause it. But there's a part, if you remember, where Sonic looks at this like map, this like hand-drawn map.
Yeah.
That Longclaw the Owl gave him. And it's like almost every single thing in that is some kind of Easter egg. And my favorite of which is that there's just the Sega Saturn logo is in there as like the shape of a planet. That kind of stuff, which is, again, those were nothing to do with me. That was more when I finally saw that scene. I was like, oh, snap. Every single thing in here means something. And I'm trying to think of like, I mean, what are ones, did you guys catch any? Like, I'm just trying to think of what ones to even.
Well,
think.
yeah, like
Almost everything is a reference to something, but some of them are like obvious, I feel. Like Green Hills, Montana was a reference to the Green Hills Zone, the first level of the game.
Mm-hmm.
What about like the checkerboard look of the rocks as he's running? Because that looked like it was a direct throwback to the game.
Well, that's the thing is they tried to, and that's something the internet can pat itself on the back for. Is and again, to clear up a misconception, I think some people still have, I guess, who don't know how long it takes to animate movies. They did not redo the movie after the internet got mad. The only special effects that were done when the internet got mad were the shots in the trailer everyone hated. So really all they had to do was like redesign him. And then they, you know, it didn't take that much more time than it was going to anyway to animate it. But I do think there was a concerted effort to make sure the designs really matched the games, and that was a perfect example. Is adding the kind of checkerboard dirt on the sides of the mountains on Sonic's like home world.
What about I was just looking, Jerry Chalk, the voice. He was one of the voices, and we actually saw him in the movie. He's one of the voices from the video game. Is that true?
Yeah, honestly, I think that was just a coincidence.
Oh, seriously?
Because they shot the movie in Vancouver, and if you know how like tax incentives work, it's like you only are allowed to farm in a certain number of actors, which usually are your like main characters and movie stars. We got lucky because Jim Carrey is Canadian, so he counted as one of the Canadian actors in the movie.
Nice.
But for the most part, every single supporting character was a local Vancouver. Like Neil McDonough, who has this one scene as the like army guy that Robotnik like embarrasses in front of his men. I think that was just a case where he heard Sonic was shooting and he was between projects and he lives in Vancouver and was kind of like, I'm available if they want me to come in and just do something. I'm forgetting the name of the actor you're talking about. I believe he was the voice of Robotnik.
Yeah, Jerry Chalk.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact, so hopefully I'm not incorrect, but I think that was just kind of a happy accident. That because he's in so much live action stuff too. I think he's one of those classic guys where you recognize his face and you look him up on the IMDb and you're like, oh my God, he's been in everything ever.
It's no accident. You can tell us.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to get Jaleel White in the movie.
Yeah.
Or two goals.
That would have been great.
Because what about the rest of you guys? For those who don't know, he was the voice of Sonic in both of the two 90s animated shows that existed at the exact same time. It's so weird. One was like a Saturday morning cartoon, and one was like a weekday afternoon cartoon. And it was a weird time in the 90s, I guess.
I was also very excited to see Michael Hogan in the film at the opening. Who was on Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, he played Saul.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I just started showing Bree Battlestar Galactica, and so when we were watching, I was like, dude, it's Ty from Battlestar.
No, I was excited about that too. I don't think whoever was casting him knew that had anything to do with it. Again, just local. You get the best of the best sometimes in those tax incentive situations.
There you go.
The best Canada has to offer.
And I don't know what was talking.
Katie?
Sorry.
Yeah,
so I know
last
time you were on the show and we were asking you about who you'd want to see in a potential sequel. And then at the end, we see Tails in the credits. So first of all, you said Tails in our last interview without actually giving anything away. So I think a lot of people were excited about that in the after credits scene. It was after the credits, right? Or was it right before the credits?
It was
like a
credits.
mid-credits.
Yeah, mid-credits, right?
Yeah. Because they have the like animated end credits, and then I think the second that ends, we get that. By the way, seeing that in a theater, like opening weekend, and the fans like losing their shit.
And Luke lost his too. Luke was watching, he goes, Tails!
I never really react to anything. Like you film a reaction video of me, I'm just like, but I just like freaking went crazy over Tails. Oh my gosh, that's Tails! Like he's like Jim did play like, what's up, Tails?
That was maybe the most exciting
Tails!
thing about the opening weekend and actually fans seeing it is because I saw Iron Man opening weekend at the same theater where then I went and watched Sonic in Burbank, so that was fun. And people got really excited when Nick Fury showed up at the end of Iron Man. It sounded nothing in comparison to Sonic fans losing their mind when Tails showed up.
And that was
like second Nick Fury.
Yeah, that was exactly how I wanted that to happen. Like I was like, if they bring Tails in, they really need to do it in a post-credit scene to set up for Sonic 2, because I mean, the game Sonic 2 is where we meet Tails in the first place. So I was just very happy. I was going to say my wife is a huge Battlestar Galactica fan. I mean, so am I, but I think she even more so. So we were excited to see Saul there at the beginning. My wife, however, did not grow up with Sega. She kind of like had Nintendo and I had Sega as a kid. So I had to explain some of the little Easter eggs. Like chili dogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which I did love that he did that. And of course, this was necessary to be in the movie somewhere. But when we get kind of like in the Sonic Speed view and he pauses and he's like looking at his wrist and tapping.
Does his little, yeah.
Was that something that like some of those Easter eggs, I mean, of course, if they're in dialogue, you probably had to write them in. But were any of those like things you guys came up with first, or anything that like Sega people came at you with and said, oh, you need to include this somewhere?
Sega, interestingly, didn't. The moment it was kind of decided that the game, I don't really think you can truly call it, or the movie, you can truly call it a prequel to the games, but nonetheless, it's like, it still seems like it would come before whatever you'd be seeing in kind of the later game franchises where Sonic's already an established character. It was more just about staying true to various elements, and then they kind of let us have a lot of freedom because I think they knew that, because like for one thing, in the game, Sonic doesn't have an origin of any kind. Like he's just a character that already exists. So they kind of let us do a lot of our own stuff. But things like the watch, that one was ours. Like that was an early discussion that we knew we had to do that.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of part of our pitch when we were trying to get hired to even do the movie, was what is the personality of this character who, if you only know him from the games, especially the early games, there's no dialogue in any of the Genesis games. But we were saying that unlike Mario, who's just always running, it's like Sega added those fun details to even the very first Sega games, that he would get frustrated with you if you weren't allowing him to go fast. So we kind of took that as like our main cue for what this character should be like, that he's just sort of a spaz.
What about did you guys get excited when he put the red shoes on?
Oh yeah, and that scene was so adorable too.
Yes.
You know, and then he goes, nobody's ever given me a gift before. I mean, that was just like, and it's this little girl and she's adorable and she's giving him her shoe. Oh my God, stop it.
Yeah.
Well, it added some emotional depth to something that we just always kind of took for granted as part of Sonic's look.
Right.
And here it's like, oh, there's some meaning to this now.
Which is funny, if you watch the trailer, the new trailer, the good one, you can tell that taking any more chances with internet reaction, and they added his shoes into shots where they actually aren't in the movie.
Oh.
Because if you've seen the movie, he doesn't get his shoes till almost towards the end.
Yeah.
Right.
But they didn't want people getting mad, being like, "Where's Sonic's shoes?"
It's like the Hulk being in the movie, but he's not actually. He's actually
the
Bruce
Avengers
Banner and all
trailer.
that. Now, speaking of that, with our comic fans, there's definitely some references to Flash and Quicksilver kind of throughout the film. Can you tell us a little bit that, if you planned on incorporating that, or if that was kind of a mix of both Post and you, or what that was?
I'd say it was a mix. I mean, it was something we always just kind of figured that I'm trying to remember if the Flash comics were something we discussed early on, because it's also, we weren't sure if we'd be able to use them because it's not a Warner Brothers movie. But as it turned out, they thought it was a fun idea and let us use it. But just kind of paying homage to all the super fast characters, where I feel like it's kind of just a circular thing. Everything is influencing everything else, and just kind of almost depends on what age you are. Who is the first really fast character you ever see that you then compare all the other ones to?
Because they had like Usain Bolt, the Olympic champion, on a poster in the background too. That was cool.
I think that was actually in the script, believe it or not.
Yeah,
for
you
the
guys
most
wrote
part,
that.
for the most part, you don't want to like ramp up your script pages trying to describe things that the production designers and art directors will be doing. I don't think they really want your suggestions for the most part, but I think that was in like a little description of things we had. Since the idea was that he had a little bit of a Little Mermaid-like thing where he's been watching the world from afar and just kind of figuring what are the things from our culture that he's glomming onto.
Can we jump back onto Katie's comment though about Tails, end credit, possible sequel? Is there any talk about the sequel?
There's definitely been talk. There's nothing official to report or that I could comment on currently. But I mean, I feel like everyone wants there to be one, so hopefully there will be. We'll see what Corona has to say about any of that. But
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now,
Hey,
there
we
was a
have-
couple other
Go
little
ahead.
Easter eggs that I noticed on my own, but I don't know if they're officially Easter eggs because I'm a big ET fan, and there was a couple scenes that felt kind of a little ET-ish, like he's hiding in some balls, which felt like when ET was hiding in the stuffed animals. And then there's like when Robotnik, as people are kind of coming in towards the end, it kind of felt like ET when, you know, all those like people came in trying to kind of investigate that. Was there any kind of reference to ET that was intentional, or was that just kind of something I
I
observed
mean,
on my own?
ET definitely came up a lot just in general discussions. I think him hiding, pretending to be a ball, I wouldn't say that was in there as an ET homage, but it definitely kind of was either way. Can't say so much for the Robotnik part, but him hiding amongst things definitely falls into that.
And I do have to say, I was negligent to introduce our producer for the show tonight, Mr. Ryan Nielsen, who he's in the booth. He's making everything run. And his picture's not up here with us tonight, but Ryan, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that you were kind of there tonight. And as I also call out to Ryan, hey, Ryan, do we have number 5
we
that
do.
we could pull up? It's that'd be great to take a look at that, because
Right.
Luke, you had a question about this, and it's a photo of
You see
the
it?
next one, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Is it with the premiere?
So that is the Blu-ray, which everyone can buy now.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I apologize, Ryan. It's keep going. And that's Josh
gosh.
at the red carpet
Hey, it's me.
premiere, which is
Is it-
It is
great.
a blue carpet. I must correct.
Blue
you.
carpet, the
Really?
Ozzy photo, the dog. This is
Yeah.
the one, right, Luke?
Yeah, because you were talking about this at the end of last show. You're like, is there any kind of special in there you could kind of tell us about? And you were telling us
Yeah, well,
about
that's
your
an
dog,
Easter
and now we get
egg
to see
that
it.
I don't even think you can call an Easter egg, because the only way you could ever get it is if you grew up with me in the 90s in Bloomington, Minnesota, which is that Ozzy, the golden retriever in the movie, is named after Ozzy, my golden retriever that my family had growing up. And that's the weirdest example of something you just put in a script and then all of a sudden it's real.
That's great.
Love it.
Another
We have one last
Minnesota
photo is the
reference
Oh, sorry.
I can say is that the world's largest rubber band ball in the movie was an homage to Minnesota's largest ball of twine, made
Yes.
famous in the 80s by a Weird Al Yankovic song.
That is
Called
maybe
The
my
Largest.
favorite Weird Al song.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so good.
And I love that scene when he just out the window and back real quick with the souvenir balls of a rubber band. Oh, that was really great.
Yeah.
It was so fun how you guys write his dialogue so quick. I do have. Hey, Luke, did you have one last picture you wanted to show him? That photo number 6. I think, Ryan, we have one last photo as we come down to a little bit towards the end. If we can't find it, I'll keep talking.
I need like 1 minute.
and see if
Well,
we
I can give you another, I guess,
no worries.
Okay.
a clarification that
Yeah.
all of us working on the movie found kind of ironic after the fact, is that Sonic's gotten a lot of flack for all this product placement that is in the movie, in particular the Olive Garden.
Garden.
Believe it or not, that was not product placement. Olive Garden didn't give us any money. That was in the script. Maybe it shouldn't have been, we realized after the fact, because we're all like, wow, I wish Olive Garden had given us some money now that we have to get so much shit for the fact that they apparently gave us money.
That makes me
free
so
breadsticks and
happy hearing
salad.
that.
I
That was
love
just
that
a
though.
joke that someone thought was funny, and then they kept leaving it in because for
Yeah.
whatever reason that joke tested really high when they
Mhm.
once the movie got to the part where they start testing anything
Yeah.
and everything about it. Middle America loves the Olive Garden.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it sounded to me like it was product placement that you just leaned into and had fun with and just made it silly, which I don't mind. You know, I mean, if people do it right, it just makes it fun.
It definitely was funny. Hey Ben, were
It's
you getting ready
probably
to
the
say
other way
something? I'm
around
sorry.
where they're like, hey, Olive Garden, can we use your name? And they're like, yeah, I guess. If you say this one extra thing about how great we are. 'Cause I don't remember adding any lines about how great they were. It was more just that they had an Olive Garden app on their phone, and then the Commander Walters gives them the present at the end.
Ryan actually has the image ready. If you can pull that up, Ryan. And Josh, can you do you see that? Luke
It
Cheeseman,
is.
this is your image. What is this?
Well, why not just have the real thing now?
Oh,
So
I guess.
I figured out the
Ah.
best drink to drink if you're an adult watching Sonic is a Blue Hawaiian, which is a classic kind of like Americanized Hawaiian cocktail made of. You can either use vodka or rum. This one has rum in it, and some cream of coconut, pineapple juice, and blue. How do you say Kyrioko or
Carousel.
Carousel, yeah.
carousel? Carousel, of course, because
Sal.
I pronounce everything. I'm kidding.
You need to tell
But,
that to the
and I
people
even
at
got
the Martini podcast.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yes.
But it's got a little streak of light. It's very good and perfect to watch.
Hey Ben, I think you were getting ready to ask a question. Maybe
I
not.
don't remember what it was.
Okay, I have a question
Katie,
real
yes.
quick, and it's for everybody. Just
Yep.
because when we started talking about Quicksilver and the Flash, it just made me think, who would win in a race, the three of them against each other?
Oh
So-
man.
Sonic never went back in time, so I think maybe he was a tad slower than the Flash, right?
I mean, it's a valid
Sonic's
point.
also somewhat functioning under like borderline Roger Rabbit cartoon laws where we're a little inconsistent with just how fast he can go. So who knows? I guess is my point.
Valid.
Yeah, I'm one of those nerds who like tries to do some math in my head when they start saying how fast he's going, and then like he runs and like hits the ocean and comes back, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
if he's going
And-
800 miles per hour, but that's 2,000 miles away, that should have taken. And yeah,
And yet he's not
It's not
fast
even
enough to outrun a tranquilizer dart. So
Right. Well, and I feel like, whereas in movies or TV shows like The Flash and stuff like that, there's a lot of science around it where the physics matter to a certain point,
science,
quote
with
unquote,
quotes. Yeah,
comic book science. But
Mhm.
where in
Science-y,
Sonic the
Y&C.
Hedgehog, like in Sonic the Hedgehog, that doesn't matter. Like for
Yeah.
him to run into the ocean and come back with a fish on his head and talk about how there's a fish on his head, like
Yeah.
that's just fun. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how if that's inconsistent with, because then earlier in the movie he's running by James Marsden's cop car and he gets like 295 miles an hour and then he gets 300 miles an hour.
yeah, like that was a hard achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then running from Montana to the coast and back in 1 second, that's way faster than 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's almost speed of light.
Oh yeah.
That
If
was
not more.
awesome. So, hey, Josh, is there, as we kind of come towards the end of the show, we do have to wrap up here. We've got a couple minutes left.
Mhm.
The Blu-ray 4K Ultra comes out tomorrow. Is there anything kind of cool that you can tell us about what we can? Do you know what's going to be released special on these special releases tomorrow?
I mean, honestly, I only know what's listed in the special features. And I know that some of the things have already been, if you bought it like through iTunes or something, it came with a lot of that. I'm excited for people to see some of the behind the scenes, because it's like anyone who's worked on a movie knows that at some point there's a certain level of triage where it's kind of you start caring just about the movie as a whole and have to lose some perfectly good, often great scenes. And one of the things we lost was what used to be the original opening of the movie, which was and then you see a couple shots of it, which is a whole sequence of Crazy Carl like leaving these traps out for Sonic in the woods. And Sonic's kind of this mysterious character you don't even see. And it was kind of all of us basically trying to open the movie like a 1980s, executive produced by Steven Spielberg Amblin movie. And I thought our director, Jeff, really crushed that scene as far as getting that look. So I'm glad that it's going to live on and that people can at least watch it, even though the movie improved when we kind of restructured Act 1 in the editing process.
All right, that's very cool. I have one question I do have to ask you here before we let you go, and then we'll let everyone else. If anyone else has a closing question, be thinking of it. But here's my closing question. And Luke sent this over to me today, March 3rd, in Deadline. This is what they said. Universal Pictures has acquired Violent Night, a feature pitch by Sonic the Hedgehog scribes Pat Casey and Josh Miller. The log line is being kept under wraps, but sources said it is an elevated thriller set against the Christmas holiday backdrop. Is there anything at all you can tell us about this particular film?
I don't want to reveal any real plot. I will clarify that because that was so incredibly vague, I think most everyone thinks it's a Christmas horror movie because they called it an elevated thriller, which was maybe a misleading choice of words. It's more like an action thriller. The elevated part is just that the concept is incredibly strange. But basically, our idea was that they make fun new Christmas horror movies every year, and we're all still rewatching Die Hard and the same Shane Black R-rated Christmas action movies. It's like, why aren't people making more of those every year? So we wanted to fill that void with a nice, good, bone-crunching Christmas action movie.
Yes.
There we go. Awesome.
This
All
is
right,
why
Ed-
we're best friends.
Maybe a Bruce Willis cameo. We'll see.
Oh, there we go. That's why it's called Elevated. It's way up in a building in Fox Plaza. Hey, guys, as we finish the show, does anyone have a closing question for Josh before we head out?
I don't know about question, but I got to tell you, I love just like the heart of the movie. I love that you have I always like it when a movie shows like marriage and family in a really good way. And basically, like, you've got this couple that's together and they're basically forming a family by getting to know Sonic and taking him in. And I love that the sister who says you need to divorce him just gets tied up and ignored in a funny way. Like, it was very sweet. Anyway, so, and I know like the soul of a film, like it really comes down to where all that starts with the writing. So kudos to you and Pat for putting together something good with it.
Thank you, sir. We just wanted to try to make people cry with a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
You got Katie.
Yep.
And hello.
Can James Marsden get any more likable as a character, for crying out loud?
I think
Jim has
he's
a man
kind of
crush.
the unsung hero of the whole movie because he's the straight man. Like, that's because like when they were trying to cast that part, like there was a lot of talk of getting various like comedians, and nobody gives a shit what the writers think. But my writing partner and I would just be like, no, it's certain names that we would hear get brought up because we're like, Sonic's the main character. He's the funny one. Like, Tom is the straight man. And it's hard to walk that line where you're the straight man, but you're not boring. And James Marsden, I don't know. He's got like, there's some special magic going on with that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, look out, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Because Paul Rudd's very good at playing that kind of character where it's kind of serious but likable. And another kind of Easter egg thing that's just random. I don't know if this had any intention. There was this line kind of about finishing each other's sentences that kind of reminded me of this like MTV thing with Mission Impossible 2 with Tom Cruise and Ben Stiller, which I loved the little short thing they did for that when Sonic did that line. I didn't know if there was any homage to that MTV segment with Tom Cruise.
Well, now I
and
wish
Ben
there
Stiller.
was. That'd be a great thing to homage.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
We'll just say yes. It was in the atmosphere.
Just say yes. Let us break some news.
Yeah.
Let us break some news. All right.
I knew it.
Wait, I
All
can
right,
give you one. I can give you one Easter egg that I haven't seen pop up anywhere. For the most part, like I said, the internet is doing a better job at finding Easter eggs than I am. But one that I haven't seen anyone pick up on is that Tom and Maddie, our two, human leads, are named after two Sega of America employees back in the day who were part of the Sonic development. Because while we were writing the movie, we were also reading a really interesting book called Console Wars, which is about the battle between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. And the CEO of Sega of America at the time was a guy named Tom Kalinske. And I think she was the product manager, but some people have called her the mother of Sonic, was a woman named Madeline Schroeder. So that's Tom and Maddie.
That's pretty
awesome.
cool.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Josh, you just gave us an exclusive.
There you
go. All right, guys, we do have to wrap up the show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. This has been Josh is one of our favorite people. He's and we can't wait until his next project is a little bit more out in the open. And hopefully he will come back because he's getting kind of big. So hopefully he will always come back and kind of give us a few nuggets to chew on. Hey, Katie, I must say congratulations on an awesome Batwoman after show. It was your solo show today, and you had the costume designer on there today, correct?
Yes, yeah. We had the costume designer for Arrow and Batwoman, and she's also worked on a majority of the super suits for all of the CW DC
That
shows.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Katie, where can people find you online, and where can they find that after show?
Yeah, you can find me on all social media, including Twitch at KT_Christine with a C. And you can find the Batwoman interview I did with for the season finale and the costume designer Maya Mani on the AfterBuzz Superheroes page on YouTube. There was also a link on Twitter that I retweeted as well as AfterBuzz. So,
It's also on the front page of theconguy.com.
Yes,
Go
that too.
check it out. Derek, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ConGuy Derek. You can find me on theconguy.com now and then. And you can actually find Ben and me together. We're part of a project now called Shakespeare in Your Living Room, where we do staged readings of Shakespeare plays on Zoom. We did Much Ado About Nothing a couple weeks ago, and we're going to be doing A Midsummer Night's Dream this coming Saturday. Ben is playing a huge character in that and doing an awesome job. And I'm directing and reading stage directions and might end up playing a couple roles.
And this is open. Anybody can watch?
It will be, yes. And we'll be sharing links to it and everything. We're basically doing the Zoom classroom style where you would be in an audience watching, and then it'll be on YouTube later.
Please share it with us so we can post that on ConGuy so we can make sure we promote that. Joss Whedon would be so proud of you guys right now. He did the same thing. All right. All right. You. Luke.
He was like breaking up.
Sorry.
And I am Cheeseman. You can find me on theconguy.com, and you can find me on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch. And Josh, I'm really looking forward to your Cry Hard Christmas movie. It's going to be amazing. Lots of emotion. It's going to be this big epic thing.
Cry hard.
We want people to cry in that one too.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, where can people find you?
Hey, everybody. My name is Ben Cleaver. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BENKLIEWER. And I don't have a Twitch, but I've been playing a lot of EA Sports NCAA Football 14. So maybe I should jump on Twitch and just play some football on there. You know, people always ask me, Ben, why are you always drinking out of that red cup? Well, it's because whenever Ben Cleaver shows up, it's always a party.
All right.
Cheers, Benji.
Cheers. Oh, wait. I had a drink. All right.
Cheers.
Also, and finally,
There we go.
Click. We got to have us a happy hour here. Josh, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can people find out about what's going on with you, or where can they follow you online?
I am Josh_S